I said from the very beginning of my campaign for mayor, for my first days in office, that the next great destination for Sacramento must be the waterfront. And so here we are, $40 million or so to activate the Sacramento waterfront, and man, do we have grand plans. When the people see what we can do with this amount of money, I think there is going to be a one-word reaction: wow. Because that's the reaction that I had when I looked at how we create a new waterfront park along the waterfront here. By replacing the tired old empty public market and creating a freight depot that will be iconic. 2 stories, the bottom floor for festivals, for art shows, for gatherings, the top floor to be a place where people can have a beer, drink some wine with a view of the river, and this will be spectacular. Waterfront Park will also include a huge festival lawn area for families and people to gather for concerts, for plays, for just hanging out. We're going to have a top-of-the-line adventure playground for kids that will include keeping some of the historic elements of the railroad, where kids can climb and do all kinds of things. And then we're going to have a cool interactive fountain, which was inspired in part by one of Councilmember Ashby's young constituents who brought forward a great idea that we seek to incorporate for an interactive fountain that kids can run through and people can access the water during the hot summers, and it'll be beautiful to look at. But that's only one piece. We are also going to create a floating terrace where, again, Sacramentans can dine and gather, and even the possibility of creating swimming pools using those floating terraces where you can actually swim in the river in a contained way that is safe. Very cool. Third, we are talking about creating an event deck on top of the existing History Museum with a great view of the river, maintaining the essence of the History Museum, of course, but again, creating another great public space for people to use and be able to see the river. And one of the things that has changed over the last 2.5 years is our relationship with the state of California. One of the obstacles to creating a waterfront park in Old Sacramento has been the fact that the state owns some of the land, the city owns some of the land, and the private sector does. We've been working very cooperatively with the state, and their contribution is going to be a beachfront park where people can actually touch the river and dip their toes in and be part of a beachfront river experience. And so I know my colleagues and the public may have other ideas, and that's great because these are not final designs in any way. But when people see this, I think they're going to be very excited. And by the way, it's a special fund that's generated from the hotel tax and can only be used on those projects which will help increase tourism. This waterfront park and the floating barges and the beach and all the things that I'm talking about are for Sacramentans, but they will also increase the number of people who come into our city because, like the San Antonio River Walk, like what Pittsburgh has done with their riverfront, like Chattanooga, Tennessee, this is going to be something to brag about for Sacramento as we do it in our way.